It's almost Pride season. And that of course means that it is time to crochet some Pride items. I did already make a by Pride bucket hat. Really happy with how it turned out. I do wish, however, that I had a blue that was a little bit darker, but I didn't. Still gets the message across, I guess. And the pattern for this bucket hat is the Granny Stitch bucket hat by Knotting Hook Crochet. Next up on the list is a bag. I want to make a mesh bag from Viv Crochets in this like off-white color. So I'm going to start it at the bottom in the white, and then I'm going to do rainbow stripes and then go back to the white for the straps. I think that's going to end up looking really nice. I do, however, only have 2 skeins and a little bit of this yarn. So I'm hoping that combining it with the rainbow colors is going to be enough of the white. We'll see. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to start with this, obviously, and we're going to make a bag. Okay, I made it to the mesh portion. It does look kind of small, but I don't really have enough yarn to make it any bigger, I don't think. I'm going off of one that I made in the past, and I took some notes on how big I made it. But I've made it to the mesh portion, which means now I have to do math. According to my notes, I did 18 rows of the mesh, and I'm gonna do a rainbow of 6 colors. So if I do 2 rows of each color, I would need 6 rows of the white. So 3 at the bottom and 3 at the top. Like that much-ish. Is that enough of the white? Like if this is the bag and the white goes to like there maybe. And then we have 2 rows of each of the rainbow colors and then 3 more rows and white straps. I might shift it a little bit because this is at the bottom. So I think I'm going to do 4 rows of the white mesh at the bottom, then 2 rows of each of the colors, and then 2 rows of white at the top, and then the white straps. I think that's going to be the best course of action. Because I want it to be obvious at the bottom as well that it is white. Sure, yeah. Let's do that. We'll do 4 rows at the bottom and 2 at the top. I am battling a sinus headache today, so I'm distracting myself by crocheting and just waiting for the rain so that hopefully it gets better. Fingers crossed. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm making great progress. Look how freaking cute this is. Are you kidding? So I've got all of the rainbow on here. The whole body portion is done. Right now it kind of looks like there's a disproportionate amount of white at the bottom, but the straps will also be white up here. So I think once the straps are on, it'll look better. But this looks so nice. Now it's not a big bag, but it is gonna stretch. I mean, even if I just tug on it a little bit, it's a little bit bigger. So I think it's gonna be a good size for bringing to Pride, for example. But yeah, it's looking really nice. I was a little worried that this yellow color was too orange, but when I put it next to the orange, obviously the orange is more orange, so it's fine. Yeah, it looks really nice. So the next step is to put the straps on in the white, and I still have a little bit of this one left and a whole nother skein, so I should be okay. And then obviously at some point I have to weave in all of these ends, which isn't great, especially on a mesh thing, but whatever. And then this is the seam on the back. You can definitely tell that it's there, but it's not crazy, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's fine. You can't really get away from having a seam, so I think this works out. So yeah, next up is the straps. I am obsessed with this. Look how cute it is. Hello? It has kind of almost like a retro vibe, you know? I do think if I were to make this again, I do think I would try to find a brighter green, and I would take one of the white rows from here and put it on top so that I had 3 down here, 3 up here instead of 4 down here and 2 up here, because the red is pretty close to where the strap starts. But in general, this is fantastic. I'm really pleased. And I have almost half a skein left of this. I'm gonna see if it can get me through maybe a bucket hat. I am going to call it for today. It's getting kind of late, and I just made that whole thing in like one afternoon, so I need to rest my hands. But I will leave the rainbow yarn next to me, and tomorrow we can make probably a bucket hat. I would also maybe consider making this bag in, let me think, maybe the lesbian pride flag. The only thing I'm going on is that last year my 2 most popular pride bandanas were the rainbow and the lesbian one. So I feel like maybe that's like in general what sells better. I have heard from other people as well that their lesbian pride stuff sells really well. So we'll see. I don't have any more white though, apart from this, so I can't make another one right away, but I do have some more white yarn coming in the mail. It's ready to pick up in a couple days, I think. So at that point I can revisit the idea maybe. But yeah, we'll pick this up again tomorrow and make some more fun pride stuff. Good morning. It's the next day. The hair's a little wild. The lighting is weird. Anyway, I think that the logical next course of action is going to be to make a rainbow bucket hat, since I have all the yarn here already. Now, I would like to do 1 row of each color, but I would not like to weave in all of those ends. So I think I'm going to try making a blocky one first, just like with sections of each color. I'm still going to use the pattern by Notting Hill Crochet, which means I do a total of 20 rows on that, and I'm going to use 6 colors. So if I do 3 rows of each color and an extra row of red at the top, because it's harder to see the red once it's, you know, on the top of your head. So I can do 1 extra. Sure, let's do that. Red it is. The hat is done. Look at it. It is beautiful. It is rainbowy. It is gay, and I love it. I think since I did extra rows of the red, I think that helped it be more visible when you put it on. Should I put it on? It's gonna ruin my hair. I'll do it for you. Okay, there it is. My bangs are being pushed into my eyeballs. Do you like? Yeah, so this is the issue. Like when I'm looking straight at you, you can't see the full rainbow because the red is on top. So, ooh. In a perfect world, I would have done the 1 row per color, but that's just so many. All in all, I think it looks great, but I might have to make one that is 1 row per color. And I really should get a brighter green. I only have this green and like a really dark one, which wouldn't match. I think I do have a brighter green coming in the mail tomorrow, I think. And also tomorrow I have more white coming. I think I mentioned that, which is going to be great because I want to make more pride flag bucket hats, but a lot of them have white in them. When I thought about it for more than 2 seconds, this is not going to make a whole one. A whole beanie? No. This is not going to make a whole bucket hat, or like the white portion of the pride flag. You know what I mean. So I need to wait. The only other pride flag I could do, I think it's just pan pride that I have. I don't think I have enough of for that actually, because I have a pink, but I don't have enough left to finish the hat, but I could start it, I guess. I also could make a pastel by pride bucket hat, but I don't think I want to like start with the pastels. Yeah. Okay, so I can get started on the pan pride one today, and then my yarn is supposed to arrive tomorrow, so hopefully I can go pick it up tomorrow, and then I can finish off the pan pride and get started on any others. I want to have the same pride flags that I do for my bandanas. So I have just a standard rainbow, bi, pan, trans, lesbian, non-binary, and ace. I think I might be missing something, but I think that's the ones I have for the pride bandanas that I have. Oh, that's another option. While away from my yarn, I could make some additional, I think I have one of each of the pride flags, but I could make like an extra or two of specifically the rainbow and the lesbian, because those were my best sellers last year. We'll see, but for now, I need to rest my hands. So, time to chill for a little bit, and then I will catch up whenever I start something else, I guess. Oh, hi. It's a little bit later. That pink went way further than I thought it would. The whole, like, base of the hat, I guess, is done, and I've even got started on the brim of it, which is fantastic. I did find 2, like, tiny scraps that I was able to tie on, which got me, you know, it made it so I could finish this row and then do this little bit. That's fantastic. Personally, I think it's pretty hard to find colors to use for the pan flag without it looking clowny. Like, I haven't matched the flag perfectly, and they're all very bright colors, and I feel like it leans a little clown. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I don't know, maybe that's just what the flag kind of does when you stripe it like this. I don't know, but when I was up here and I only had these rounds, I was like, oh, this is a circus ball, you know? Anyway, it's looking cute. It's definitely still a nice color combo, and it's turning out very cute. But I'm out of pink yarn now. I'm stuck on this hat until my new yarn arrives, which is supposed to be tomorrow, as I said. So in the meantime, oh, and I wanted to explain, because maybe this could get partway through a hat the same way that I'm doing with the pink yarn right now, but this is a Black Friday special edition something or other, and this color is not the same as the regular type. So if I started with this color and then continued with the new yarn I'm getting, it wouldn't match. So that's why I can't use this for a bucket hat, because it's not going to be enough. There are plenty of other things I could make. I think the best course of action right now is to either, I was gonna say I could make another rainbow bucket hat and do the single stripes on it, but I kind of want to wait and see if that one does sell, because if it does, then I would rather make that one, because it's fewer ends and it doesn't take as long and it's easier. So I'm gonna hold off on that, because I do have a rainbow bucket hat right now. Or maybe I could somehow figure out a way to carry the yarn. 6 colors though. I mean, it would be a mess, but I do a cluster, a granny cluster of 3 double crochets. And when I'm making this one, I'm carrying the other 2 strands in one of those double crochets. So what if I did 2 ends in each? Or, well, no, it would be 2 ends, 2 ends, and 1 end, I guess. That might end up messy on the inside though. Maybe it's worth thinking about. Sorry if you can hear the dishwasher in the background. However, I think the smartest thing probably to do right now would be to make more of the rainbow bandanas and or lesbian bandanas. So it's about to be dinner time, and after that I will see what I feel like for that. I know that I have 1 of each at least. Maybe I should go for having maybe 3 of each prepped. It's hard to find the balance of like being prepared but not making way too many and then you end up with just lots left over. I'll think about it and I'll let you know. Oh hey, my life is just a never-ending loop. Hold that thought. Hello, excuse me. I feel like my life is just a never-ending loop of apologizing for background noise. One day I will not live in an apartment the size of a pea and you won't be able to hear every single noise that is happening all at once. Regardless, after I talked to you last, I did go ahead and make an additional lesbian pride bandana, so now I have 2 of these. I haven't woven in my ends though, because that's annoying, but basically I just want them ready so that if it gets ordered, I can just weave in the ends and be good to go. So now I have 2 of them, which is great. As you saw, my yarn arrived, and the brown that I showed you was actually for a custom order that I had. And she had been waiting for quite a while. So I did take a break yesterday from Pride stuff and I made a bikini. It turned out pretty good. It was just very annoying to make. Like the construction of it was just so annoying. Anyway, that's done. What else? Oh yeah, with the pink yarn that I got, I managed to finish the Pan Pride bucket hat. Now, I messed up a little bit on this one. I didn't do my math and I just went for it and I did 1 row of each color all the way down, which means we ended on pink. And I don't think that's the worst thing. I think it doesn't really matter. So I'm not gonna change it. But for future reference, if I make this again, I would do 2 rows of pink at the top so that the bottom edge would be blue, which is like the bottom color of the flag. But it's not that big of a deal. Ends are not weaved in on this one either. That is on my to-do list, but there's that. And also in that yarn order was a bunch of white yarn. And that means that I can start making some more bucket hats. I think I'm actually gonna start with just finding colors just to see if I have enough yarn for all of the flags that I want to do. Because if I don't, I need to order yarn right now. And I probably won't make it here before the drop, and I would have to just sprinkle those ones in at the end. Yeah, let's go over to my yarn over there and see what we can find for said bucket hats. Obviously I have a 10-pack of white right here, but the other colors, let's go see. The first one I was thinking of was Trans Pride, and I think I have a light blue here. I also have this blue that I could use. And then as for pinks, I have either the very light, so either I go full pastel, or I have this pink, which doesn't really go with either of these, to be honest. And I also have this pink, which is more of like a dusty pink, I guess. I think that goes with this one at least. And it does go with this one too, but I think these 2 together plus the white might look a little washed out. So I think the best option are these 2 right here. So that's the trans one. sorted. Next, I definitely want to do Lesbian Pride, which I'm going to do the 5-color version. So we have dark orange and just like a normal orange over here, like so. And then we have the white over there. And then I need 2 pinks, a lighter and a darker pink. I have this one, which is more of a red. I have this one, which we just looked at. And I have this one, which I don't really think goes. I think I'm probably going to use this one that we looked at earlier. These 2, and then the pink that I just got. I think that will do the best for the Lesbian Pride one. We also have non-binary pride, which is yellow, black, white, and purple. I only have light purple over here, but I have some more dark purple over on the couch. So I'll see which one I like better. And then for Ace Pride, it is also purple. I'll bring this just in case it works. Purple, black, white, and ooh, gray. I think this is all the gray I have. That might not be enough. Oh, this is very complicated. Maybe. I guess I'll try, and we'll see. So now I have all of the yarn pulled and ready, so I should be able to make all of those different variations. Oh hey, it's the next day, and I just finished this Trans Pride bucket hat. I did the same thing again, where I accidentally ended with the first color, but first of all, I think it looks better than having a white edge, and secondly, the Trans Pride flag is like mirrored anyway, because you have blue, pink, white, pink, blue. So it really doesn't matter. I didn't follow the flag order. I just did blue, pink, white, blue, pink, white, blue, pink, white. And, you know, it gets the message across. So I'm not sure this blue is the perfect shade, but again, I feel like you get it. So it's fine. I have so many ends to weave in on all of these bucket hats. I did go ahead and order some more yarn yesterday. It probably won't arrive until after the drop goes live, which I'm planning to do on May 15th, by the way. I think this video goes out after that, so hey, check it out. I guess the next thing I can do... No, I can't, actually. I was gonna say I can do a non-binary bucket hat, but I don't have the right purple for that. I did order like a medium purple, because I only have a pretty dark one and a pretty light one. So I wanted something in between for both the non-binary and the ace. So I can't make either of those unless I use a purple I don't really wanna. Let me get my phone. I'm gonna check my website again and my Pride listing for the bandanas. Okay, we've done trans bucket hat, we've done pan, we've done bi. We can't do ace, we can't do non-binary. We've done lesbian and we've done rainbow. I have done pastel versions of the rainbow and the bi bandanas, but I don't have the correct colors to do a pastel rainbow bucket hat. And the pastel bi pride just, I don't know, I don't love it, honestly. I think as soon as you go pastel with it, you can't really tell what it's supposed to be because it gets kind of like washed out, or maybe it's just my specific color selection, I don't know. But that does mean that we've done all the bucket hats that we can do right now. So first on the agenda is gonna be to weave in ends, because there are a lot. And then after that, I'm actually gonna try and make a t-shirt, or yes, I'm gonna try to make a t-shirt, because I made this guy for my spring drop. Turned out really nice, and I do have a ton of white yarn. So what I'm thinking is that it's a top-down raglan. So I start at the top and I do white, And then as soon as I get to the body portion, I do rainbow stripes and then end with white. So it's like just a strip of rainbow across the chest. I think that would be cute. I also have to go drop off the custom order today and, you know, get groceries and whatever. Yeah, I think that's the plan for right now. It is also pretty nice and sunny today. So I might try and take photos of the bucket hats we have done once I leave in the end. Start building a draft of the listing, maybe. Well, hello. Excuse the hair, I obviously just got out of the shower. You'll be fine. I took a few days off from filming because I was not feeling very good, but I did crochet. And this is the progress on the top that I mentioned I was gonna make. And it looks pretty good. I do need to try it on though to see how it's looking. Partially because my yarn is supposed to be ready for pickup tomorrow, which means that's gonna be go time for bucket hats. Because my drop is on Wednesday the 13th. I don't know why I said 15th. I think I thought like middle of the week equals middle of the month or something. I don't know. But it's on the 13th. Doesn't matter anyway because it's still up when this video comes out. But yes, I need to try this on. Let's do that and see how the length is and what we're doing. All right, ignore the outfit. Obviously, you know, sweatpants and, you know, ignore. But it does look pretty good. I think I did expect the rainbow stripe to be more mid-chest. That's my bad. It looks nice though, but it can be longer. I want it to be not quite this cropped, because if I put my arms up right now, everything is out. So we're gonna do, let's see. I think I will do one more row of trebles and one more row of doubles, and then one row of single crochet around to finish it off. Because then I think it'll end up pretty much right where my pants start. And these are freaking high-waisted pants. So I think that would be good. And after that, I obviously have to do a row of single crochet around the neck opening and the sleeve openings as well to finish it off. But it's looking pretty good. Let's wrap it up. I need a new skein of yarn. While I tie this on, I'm gonna let you know what I did with this, because I did make a green one for my spring drop, and it's right here. And I made the size 2X, and I felt like maybe it was like a little bit roomy on me, basically. Not oversized or falling off, but you know, I figured I could make it a little bit smaller. But what I did is, instead of going down a size, I actually made the 2X, but I changed my hook size from a 5 to a 4.5. So the stitches are a little bit tighter, I guess. And just by trying it on now, I can really notice a difference in the size of it. This one still fits, but it's a lot more snug, I guess. And I think that turned out quite nice. So let's finish off this row and then do 2 more and some single crochets. Happy Monday. It's a gray and rainy day today, which is quite rude. I have 2 days left, basically, until my drop. And I just picked up my yarn, so we're gonna look through it quickly. First and foremost, we have the 10-pack of white. We have 3 skeins of hot pink, 4 skeins of orange. I'm gonna be so honest, I kind of blacked out when I ordered all of this. I was so scared of running out of yarn, and then I ran out of time instead. So yeah, I got a lot. We have 4 skeins of dark orange, so obviously I had some sort of lesbian something in mind. Not sure why I got 4 though. 1 gray, needed this. 2 of this shade of green, but I did realize, because I wanted a brighter green for my rainbow, but I realized that this doesn't really go. Kind of changes the vibe of the rainbow. So now I just have these, I guess. Sorry if the angle changed, my battery died. It couldn't handle all this yarn, I guess. We have 3 of pink berry, 3 cornflower, 3 grape, which is amazing because I just ran out completely of this color. So now I have some more. And then these are the purple ones I got for the bucket hats that need purple. Looking at it though, it looks kind of exactly the same as the light purple I already have. So that's a little disappointing, but whatever, I'll use it. We have 3 of this light, more muted pink. I think this also is lesbian coded, maybe. Oh, another one of the green. And a dark blue. Remember I said the buy a bucket hat, I wish I had a darker blue. Now I do, so if that one sells, I can remake it with the darker blue instead. And then I also got 2 fingering weight purples for the rainbow bandana, just in case it like takes off or whatever. Then I don't have the same problem that I did last year, where I ran out of yarn and I had to wait for more to arrive, which may have lost me sales. I don't know. But now I have some extras of these purples, and I checked before I ordered, and I think this is the only thing like at risk of running out. Is this all? I feel like I got fingering weight white. Did I not? Crap. I need to go through my order and see if everything is here. Because I obviously use white. No, I didn't. Because I realized I'm running out of pure white, but I do have some like softer white or like slightly off white. I think that's what I decided. I'm gonna check anyway and just make sure that everything is good, I think. But I can now grab, where to go? I can now grab the purple, and that's not the right purple. I might have to just use the dark purple. I think that's gonna be better. And then a white and a black for this. And then I can start making some bucket hats. And then I can switch out the gray for a yellow and do another one. So then I will have the non-binary and the ace pride bucket hats. And that'll be all of the variants that I'm making right now. Amazing. Okay, let me double check all the yarn and then we'll get started on some bucket hats. Hi friends, it is later, much later, as you can see by the quite interesting lighting happening right now. I don't think that's better. Anyway, earlier I did end up finishing both the bucket hats. So we have the Ace Pride one. This looks really nice. I'm really glad I went with the purple that I did. And it also is just a good color scheme. Pretty flag. Then I also made the non-binary one. Now what I did for these is at the top, obviously there are 4 colors in these flags, and this bucket hat I do 20 rows. So technically that works out perfectly, but the last row is a row of single crochet. And I wanted the last row of the actual brim and the finishing edge single crochet to be the same color. So instead of doing extra rows of the starting color at the top, because it would be quite a few, I actually just skipped the first color of the flag at the top. So the non-binary flag has yellow on the top, but I just skipped it basically at the top and started with the white instead. And I mean, once you're wearing it, you cannot tell. And even if you were to see it, you still get the vibe. That's what I did for both of these. The first color on here, on the Ace one, is actually black, but I just skipped it so that I could have a full edge of purple at the bottom. So those two are finished, which is great news. I did finish them a little too late to take any photos or any video of them, so I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, but that should be fine. And then I did decide to start one more project because I know that I can finish it before my drop. So I am making another mesh bag, and I'm gonna do it in the lesbian pride colors. So it'll be the same as this, which we made, what, last week, I guess? It'll be the same as this, just that the colors will be the lesbian flag instead. So I think that's gonna turn out really cute, and this, I can make this whole bag in one day. I also have the listing for this already started, and I can pretty much just copy it over and change, you know, a little bit of the wording. So that's what we're doing with this. I think I am probably going to finish the darkest pink, maybe the other pink, and then I'm gonna call it a night because it's getting pretty late. And then tomorrow we will finish this up, and it's also technically my last day for any photos, any video, prepping listings, things like that. So, I mean, the drop isn't going live until 6 p.m. my time. What is that, like CET, I think, Central European time, yeah? So I do have until then to get everything completely ready. But I do have other things that go along with the drop. So I do have obviously all of the listings and the photos and descriptions and everything of that. I also have some social media posts that I want to put out to announce the drop. I also have my newsletter that I want to send out, and just like a lot of little things, basically. So I want to make sure that I at least get a start on that. So that's going to be tomorrow. And then, oh, I do also want to cross-post all of these listings to Tice, which is the Norwegian equivalent of like Vinted, I think, or Depop or something. So I do want to post on there as well, but my website obviously gets priority, so I'm going to do that first. And then after that goes live, I'm going to put everything on Tice as well, which also takes a little bit of time, because on Tice you can't, as far as I know, you can't schedule things or even make drafts, really. So that's going to be sort of a longer sit down, get it all done kind of a thing. But I will already have all of the photos and everything. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, also tomorrow, I want to make sure that I film just like some quick snippets of me wearing the bucket hats, because I've done that with bandanas, but not with the bucket hats. And hopefully I'll finish this in time to also get a little video of just like holding it up and being like, wow, look at this, so nice, wow. So yeah, lots of little things. I'm not showing you everything because a lot of it is just me sitting like this on my phone, which is not very interesting, like editing photos or making listings or whatever. But I hope it's still interesting to watch, see some behind the scenes. But yeah, I will do a little bit more on this, and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning. Except I showered and I doom scrolled, and it's not morning anymore. Oops. Let us finish up this bag. The weather is much nicer today. I did already take some photos and videos of the bucket hats, so I'm getting close to being pretty much done with everything. I think the only thing left is actually finishing this and taking some photos and video of it, and then it's more so putting together the posts and whatever. Oh no, I do have to film a try-on of the bucket hats, but I'll do that later so I don't use up a good hair day, because bucket hats and bangs are they don't really mesh. But yeah, let's finish this, shall we? It's done. It is so cute. I just love these so much. They look so nice. And now I have two. It's just fantastic. I love it. It makes me want to make one in every flag. However, I don't think that's a good idea until I've sold at least one. That was my fridge, if you heard that. So I'm gonna stop here. Also, my wrists definitely made a break. I do technically have time to make another one, but then I would have to rush tomorrow to get all of the photos and stuff of it, and I don't want to do that. So I think we'll call it there for the making of everything. And now, unfortunately, sort of the rest of what I need to do is just me looking like this, which is not very fun. What I'm going to start with, since I have all of my items now, is I'm going to start by completely finishing the Shopify listings. And by completely finishing, I mean that some may need an additional photo or an additional sentence in the description, or just like tiny stuff. And obviously the lesbian bag I need to make a listing for. So I think that's the most important thing, that everything is ready on my website. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to get all of the listings completely ready. And then I want to post short form today. So I'm going to get today's short form ready and then start on tomorrow's as well. The drop announcement thingy. And hopefully get both of those scheduled, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's it. Time for the admin boring stuff. Why hello. Today is the day. My drop goes live in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now, I am definitely not expecting getting any orders today. So it'll just sort of quietly go up, and then hopefully orders will come in as we move along. Last year, I didn't get a Pride related order until June had already started, but I also didn't have my website. So new variables, but also I'm not expecting anything to happen right away. I did get an order yesterday though that I already packed up. This was just for a custom bandana in a dark brown, and I already had it made, so I just packed it up. I do need some groceries, so I'm thinking I'll just pop out, put that in the mailbox, buy some groceries, and then be back in time to make sure that everything posts. I also have a newsletter scheduled, and I have posts for TikTok, the YouTube community, and Instagram all scheduled, so those should go up at 6 p.m. Listings are also scheduled, which I haven't done before, so I need to check that and make sure that they do go up when they're supposed to. And after it goes live on my website, I'm gonna go in and put stuff up on Tice as well. So I basically finished my Pride collection. Everything is going up, getting ready. So I think I'm gonna leave this video here because we've done what we set out to do. I want to thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.